Hey guys, welcome back to Children of Dionysus. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to have more power and resonance when you're speaking Shakespeare. My name is Laris Macario. I'm an online Shakespeare coach, and I help actors find their true artistic voice through Shakespeare. When I was training my client today, who's a very talented actress, she's wonderful, she's lovely. She runs into a problem that a lot of actors tend to have, which is to rush, right? And to sort of let the text get away from them in a very real way. This is a common pattern with most actors. I've had this issue myself as well, and I find that most actors can actually do the work pretty easily because the work Shakespeare, the iambic pentameter, the meter of the speech is actually pretty conducive to the way that we speak every day. And if you're an artist and you have the inclination to act, you have the emotional availability to be able to tap into the work. But sometimes it requires a little bit more grounding, a little bit more slowing down, a little bit more connection to your voice. There's an exercise that I do with the actors, which I call the 1, 2, 3 breathing exercise. It's an old school acting exercise that I learned in drama school. When you're looking at Shakespeare in blank verse, it's separated by one line. It's not like prose that kind of just goes, it kind of melts into the other one. It's separated 10 beats per line in iambic pentameter in blank verse. You can actually see it in the structure of the text. What I have them do is I have the actors breathe before every single line. Now, when you're doing Shakespeare, you don't actually breathe before every single line. You usually breathe between at the beginning of a thought. And a thought in Shakespeare can be one line, it could be a half a line, it could be two words, it could be 4 or 5 lines together. Sometimes you take catch breaths if you're running out of air. But I have them do this exercise for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it slows down your brain because we have a tendency to rush the language, right? Secondly, it teaches them to link breath with speaking. And third, it supports their breath through the line. In Shakespeare, what you want to do is you want to get to the end of the foot, to the end, then to the end of the line, then to the end of the thought, then to the end of the speech, then to the end of the act, then to the end of the scene, then to the end of the play, right? So that's usually the sequence, right? Shakespeare's always moving forward, kind of like life. We're always moving forward whether we want life to move forward or not. You always want to get to the end of things and keep that momentum going. In Shakespeare, you don't really stop until the play is done. Um, it doesn't mean that you're just rushing through the text the whole time. It means that there is always forward momentum. But with that said, the language can sort of feel like it's getting away from you. And we have to always be in control without being controlling, if that makes sense. So what I have them do is I have them breathe before every single line and just speak the text easy. I don't have them they don't have to act anything. They don't even have to honor the meter that much. I just want them to get accustomed to breathing and speaking and being supported by the text. Being supported by the air. Then I have them go and I have them breathe every other line, right? So if they say one line on a breath, then I have them say 2 lines and then breathe. Then I have them say 3 lines and then breathe. Each time I'm ensuring that they're being deliberate about the things that they're saying, and they're being deliberate about understanding exactly what's on the page and how it's all supposed to work. That tends to relax them. It engages their parasympathetic nervous system, which is important to bring us down back to earth, to ground us in what we need to do, because acting is relaxation. If you're not relaxed, you can't really act. Emotions can't really move through you. You're kind of in a heightened state, and you're not really going to be able to be creative enough to make choices or to, play, which is really what this whole thing is about, right? You have to be in a state of play, in a state of relaxation, or else it's never going to happen for you. After that, what I had the actress do was I had her hum before each line. So I had to do the same thing. I want to hum before the first line, then hum every second line, then hum every third line. Now, humming is a really interesting thing because what ends up happening is, first of all, humming is a great way to warm up your vocal folds, your vocal cords, which is necessary in order to be able to do the work without blowing out your voice. But it also, again, engages the parasympathetic nervous system and allows you to speak and use sound without straining the voice. It really is a great lubricant and a great supporter for the voice. And it gives you, in a very real way, power to get through the end of the speech. Now, a couple of things happens. I think about there's this device that I used to use when I was doing physical therapy that exists. You can buy it on Amazon. And it's kind of like a gun, and it vibrates. right? It sort of pulses against the muscle. And what it ends up doing is it ends up breaking up the muscles. Sometimes when you have what's called myofascial fascial release, I used to be a personal trainer, and basically you have the sheath of the sort of the sheet over the muscle fibers. And sometimes it ends up getting tangled up, especially if you're very active or if you've been injured or something like that. You need to sort of loosen that up to get the flexibility necessary to have the full range of motion. Well, your voice, and really in many respects, your spirit works in the same way. Sometimes our minds get kind of gunked up with stuff, or our emotions get sort of blocked, and we have to clear the space. And the vibration of the humming, it does a great spot of clearing the emotional passageways so that things can actually start to flow. We always want to be in a flow state. We always want to have emotions flowing through us in order for us to really have the full range of color and the emotional spectrum necessary to play, right, in a very real way. So the humming is great because, again, it calms you down. It engages the parasympathetic nervous system. It also prepares you to speak. It prepares you to express yourself. It prepares you the sounds to come out of your body in a very relaxed way. This is great if you're feeling nervous, or if you're feeling like you're kind of getting above the text, you're not necessarily feeling grounded. And it's not just for Shakespeare work. This also works for contemporary work as well. I have found that just humming, and then speaking lines, it molds beautifully into us wanting to speak and communicate. It's actually quite lovely. Babies, sometimes what helps to calm them down if they're in a very agitated space is to actually lay them on your chest and to hum. Especially if you have, like, the dads, right? They have a lower register. It helps to really relax the baby. And I don't think that that ever goes away for us. We always sort of need to be soothed in that way. Obviously, we don't have people necessarily to soothe us, and so we have to learn to soothe ourselves. So again, this is a great thing if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling like the text is getting away from you, if you're feeling like I'm not really feeling grounded and connected to what's happening. Try humming. First, try the breathing exercise. Try breathing before every line to slow you down. Then breathe every other line. Then breathe every third. Another thing that I forgot to add is when you're doing that, you're actually expanding the lung capacity. Because to have to say 3 lines of text without breathing again means that you have to be very economical the way that you're breathing. So you have to time and really sense how much air you're going to let out as you're speaking. You're forced to control the breath. Not in a controlling way, but in a way that it's like, okay, like this is how much time I have before I run out of air, right? And it can get a little bit difficult in the beginning, but it gets easier with time. So you do the breathing exercise first to ground yourself, to build the lung capacity, to train the lungs that it's okay to breathe and speak, to combine those two things. And then you try the humming exercise to relax you even more, to ground you even more, and to give yourself permission to speak in a relaxed way. And what you're going to find out is the music of the text will start to move through you because now the passageways are getting clearer. You are a vessel, right? And part of our job as actors, part of our jobs as creative artists is to ensure that the vessel is open enough for the music of the text, the music of the work, and the muses to move through us, to inspire us, so that we can serve the text, serve the story, and serve the audience. I hope this helps. Again, my name is Laris Macario. I'm an online Shakespeare coach. I help actors find their authentic artistic voice through Shakespeare. If you're looking to be the best actor in every room you step into, I'm your man. DM me if you see this on Facebook or LinkedIn. Go look down into the description and you'll see my contact information and stuff like that. Call me up, hit me up. If you've ever been curious about Shakespeare, you kind of maybe a little bit nervous about it and you don't know kind of how to go about it, but you've always had like a little inkling, or if you're an accomplished actor and you just want to brush up and you just want to get better, I'm your guy as well. We can set up a phone call, a talk, see if we're a good fit, and then, we'll take your acting to the next level. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.